Ah, welcome back, and we are now at part 2 of this week's New Comics, bitches! The last one of 2011. Maybe. There might be more. At least more editions. So you'll have to stay tuned and find out. Anyway, so, kind of coming back to Cap a little bit, since it was kind of a Cap-heavy week, or at least teams that revolve around Cap. We have Secret Avengers number 20. And we have essentially a very Black Widow-centric tale in which Warren Ellis basically crafts a very warpy, twisty, and convoluted, but surprisingly easy to follow time travel tale. You know, this kind of old school fantastical elements that Ellis has really brought to bear in some of his issues of Secret Avengers, because they're all one-offs and they've all been terrific. I may have to really reevaluate my position on Warren Ellis as far as this work is concerned. But what's been different here, as far as what I've seen from Ellis in the past, doing this kind of story before, is the humor that he brings. You know, by allowing things to be a little bit lighter, because really, okay, I know most of Warren Ellis's work from things like Ultimate Human, which I did not really care for, and of course, what I thought was an absolutely unforgivable and abysmal run on Astonishing X-Men right after the amazing, brilliant, superb, awesome, incredible, nearly perfect run of Joss Whedon and John Cassaday on that same title. So that's really where my vitriol, my intense dislike of Ellis has come from prior to his run on Secret Avengers. So his work on Secret Avengers has really turned things around for me. So I really, like I said, really have to start rethinking this. But by injecting these little bits of humor, like just Black Widow's kind of faux relationship that she has with the time travel device, you know, just every once in a while, you know, she'll ask it a question and it'll tell the answer that she doesn't want, and she'll just say, "I hate you." You know, it's a wonderful kind of light moment that gives the darker elements of this particular story more impact. And it's something that really, you know, this kind of, you know, time warpy espionage, you know, Black Widow's basically got to go back in time to somehow prevent the Secret Avengers from dying in the future, but to do so without harming too much of the space-time continuum. You know, basically leaving as little of a time footprint as possible. And, you know, Ellis does this incredibly artfully, and just does it very smartly. And, you know, and of course, you know, we have, you know, Alex Maleev's tremendous artwork complementing this. So this is it for Warren Ellis, and I have to say he went out on a pretty high note, because we're going to get Rick Remender, who people keep recommending to me. I know his work from Venom, which is a series I'm not too huge of a fan of, but it's been good. I mean, conceptually, it's a really strong series. But, you know, people keep telling me about Uncanny X-Force and how good that is, and it's something that I have yet to get into, and I feel bad about that, because it's something that everybody really is raving about. So that's something I will endeavor to investigate more as far as Remender's work on that. So anyway, but we have a really solid, really good, very entertaining, and very thoughtful and very thought-provoking issue to wrap up Warren Ellis's run. So hats off to you, Warren. I was very hesitant to keep reading this, but you did it, man. You blew me away in some of these issues. So hats off to you. And this is a, again, an easy 4 out of 5, maybe closer to 4.5 out of 5. It's damn good. Now to something I didn't quite like so much, and that is the Ultimates number 5 for Ultimate Comics Ultimates number 5. This issue to me, it just screamed filler. That's all this issue is. It's just filler. We're going to give you a lot of, kind of side information that's relevant to the plot, that's relative to the action that's going on, but we're not going to really give you anything. Again, I know that Hickman is setting up of how much of a threat the city is to the world and how it also could possibly tie to Ultimate Comics Hawkeye, how that tale could come into play here. But something needed to happen here, and nothing did. And that's really my biggest disappointment, is that it just was a lot of information and nothing really had all that much. There was a lot to say, but nothing to do. The stuff with Falcon trying out the stealth suit and everything like that, that was interesting, and it was cool, but it didn't pull me in. It didn't suck me in. The stuff with Spider-Woman, basically, this being a sidestep to what's going on in Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. And the stuff with Thor and his dinner with Jane, and and Nick meeting Cap out in the desert and everything like that. Again, interesting, but not. I need something. I needed something to happen in this book, because a lot of stuff has gone on previously here, but I needed something visceral to happen. I needed, this attempt to get the band back together. It's a really, it's a great idea. I like it a lot, and all the impact that the city is having all over the world with the children and everything like that, and obviously the stock market, and we have Stark and that his little club and everything like that, and all of these things are sort of it's basically, it seems like Hickman wants to take a break from the action to tell more story, but there are ways in which you can do both. So I was just I just wanted, I needed more out of this book, and I didn't get it. So sadly, this was probably one of my least favorite books of this week, if not the least favorite book out of this week. It's a 2, and it's a 2.5 out of 5. Again, we have I believe this had it had kind of some rotating art. We had Brandon Peterson and Asad Ribic. And Asad Ribic I love, and Brandon Peterson stuff I wasn't a big fan of. God damn it, these things keep going out. But anyway, okay, so speaking of Ultimates, Ultimate X-Men number 5. We have a lot of intrigue at the White House going on here, and it's kind of coming to a head, thankfully, because this is an area I think we kind of need to get out of. The revelation of Stryker's true self is a really terrific reveal. Sorry, was I clear on that? 2 out of 5 for the Ultimates number 5. But, basically what we have here in this issue of Ultimate X-Men, we have Nick Spencer really getting this book into gear. He really gave it the kick in the ass that it needed. Because the issues before this, they've been good. But they've been a little on the boring side. So conversely, we have, it's been interesting, and there's been stuff going on, and we've seen what a threat Stryker is, and all of Pietro's machinations in the White House and everything like that. And I still have a feeling that Pietro is mixed up in all of this somehow. There's some end game that he is trying to play here, and I don't know what it is, but I'm really looking forward to finding out if that is indeed the case. But with everything going on with Rogue and Kitty, and with the Sentinels and Cerebra, I mean, this is really, everything finally feels like it's really cohering, like it's really coming together. This book has kind of been on the edge, so to speak, of things happening, and now we have things really happening here. And that to me is, you know, like, which is not to say again that things haven't happened before, but they're really, shit's really coming down now. So this was, you know, this was a 4.5 out of 5, easy. This was a terrific book, terrific issue of Ultimate X-Men. And that brings us to actually my other least favorite book of the week, and that is Kick-Ass 2, number 6. Reading this, honestly, I just felt tired. Really. I mean, I appreciate the story that Miller wants to tell, but this title, it's run out of gas. It's just, it really has. I mean, he's already told this story in the previous series, in Kick-Ass. I mean, essentially, you know, but it's the same thing on just a larger scale. It's been blown up. You know, I can also, you know, again, and I can appreciate his expansion of that universe that the book exists in, but what made the first series so great and so fresh was its uniqueness, and nothing feels fresh or new here. You know, I mean, you know, basically we have the motherfucker and his mega cunts, you know, taking pages out of the playbook of, you know, like, you know, Alex and his droogs from Clockwork Orange, or the Joker from The Dark Knight. You know, it's basically this escalation upon escalation. And what also really disappointed me here is that the artwork by J.R. Jr. really felt rushed and cheap. The coloring work seemed shoddy. It just seemed like a really incomplete book overall. I mean, obviously I'm going to get the last issue here, but that's it. I hope that this is it for the Kick-Ass universe. At least it certainly is for me, because this whole series has kind of been one kind of big letdown after another. It started out cool, but then it slowly got to a point where I thought it was just obscene, quite honestly, and I've discussed that issue. I think that was issue 5, or issue 4, I believe, with the rape and the shooting of children in the head. So, I mean, it didn't work for me. I thought it was really, really, really in poor taste, and it didn't need to go there. But, again, that's, you know, Miller, at least he'll take you there, and you may not enjoy the ride, but at least he's ballsy enough to take you there. So I do have to hand it to him on that. But again, this book just feels tired. It feels worn out, and I feel tired and worn out from reading it. So I'm sorry to say, but just it's not a story worth telling anymore, Mark. So please lay off, okay? So, you know, keep giving us Superior, keep giving us Nemesis. This is good stuff. But this book, you know, and your upcoming series with Dave Gibbons, you know, let's go on that. Let's work with that. But this is gone stale. This book's gone stale. So that's it. So we've got a lot more ground to cover, so stick around and we'll cover it. Okay? Stay tuned.